Hey everyone, and welcome back to Cruising with Matthew. In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of the dining options on board P&O's Britannia, which I sailed on in April 2023. So I really hope you enjoy this video. Before I start this video, I just want to highlight that I was gifted some extra onboard credit by P&O Cruises to give me the opportunity to try the extra charge venues on board. However, I haven't been paid to portray these venues in a particular way. Likewise, as the footage for this video was recorded in April 2023, the food offered today may differ from what you see in this video. However, I hope it gives you a general idea as to what you can expect on board and that you find this video useful. Now, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to split the dining venues into inclusive options as well as those which are at an extra cost, kicking off with the dining options included in your fare. The first of these are the main dining rooms, which are situated in the aft portion of decks 5 and 6. These are named as the Peninsula, Oriental and Meridian restaurants, and together these offer breakfast, lunch and dinner at no extra cost throughout the cruise. Breakfast was served in the Peninsula restaurant and is open sitting, so you just turn up and you're seated at your preferred table size. Do note that it can get quite busy at peak times, so you may have to wait a little, although you can speed this up by opting to share a table if you so wish. Upon being seated, you're offered tea and coffee as well as a selection of juices whilst you're perusing the menu, which always felt like a nice touch. You also get offered sides such as pastries as well as toast, and we often took advantage of this whilst we waited for our food to arrive. We were quite impressed to see there was a good range of breakfast options to suit everyone's taste, including fruits, yogurts and cereals, and I tended to go for their smoothie of the day option as it always tasted really good. My main dish was often the P&O Cruises breakfast, which always tasted fabulous and certainly set me up for the morning. You could always just choose certain components if you preferred. If you're not wanting a cooked breakfast, there's also a number of fish options ranging from haddock, kippers and salmon, as well as several egg-based dishes such as Eggs Benedict, which is always a favourite of mine. Lunch operates in a similar fashion and again is only served in the Peninsula restaurant under open sitting, although on our cruise at least, it was only served during sea days, so sadly we only got to eat here on a few occasions. Here you can enjoy a variety of small plates and soups which can be counted as a starter, large plates which can count as the main course, as well as a dessert if you fancied. There's also alternative main courses, including a daily sandwich, as well as some lighter options if you're wanting to be a bit healthier. However, you can of course mix and match between all of these if you so wish. Although none of the food was exactly groundbreaking, it all tasted quite good and there seemed to be a decent selection each day. Therefore, if you have time during your cruise, I'd really recommend choosing the main dining room over the buffet for breakfast and lunch, as it gives you the chance to enjoy your food at a more relaxed pace, and as it is waiter served, it always felt that bit more special than eating in the buffet. Dinner is set up a little differently depending on your choices at the time of booking. If you've chosen club dining, then you're allocated a table at the same time each night of your cruise with the same waiter team. Table sizes range from 2 to 8, although your choice is a preference and not guaranteed. Now for first sitting, this will be at 6:30 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. for second sitting. On board Britannia, club dining is held only in the Oriental restaurant, which you'll find right at the back of the ship on deck 6. Alternatively, if you've opted for freedom dining, you can dine in either the Meridian or Peninsula restaurant at any time between 6 and 9:30 p.m. Simply turn up and request a particular table size which suits you. Do note that it is a first come first serve basis, so if you arrive at a busy period, you may be asked to wait with a pager until a table becomes available. The meal itself is typically 3 courses, where you order a starter, main and dessert, although you can order extras such as a salad course, or for us, we nearly always got a soup as well, as they tasted really good. Now, on formal nights, even if you enjoy specialty dining, I'd recommend giving the main dining room a go. They offer a more elevated menu, with it being designed in collaboration with P&O's food heroes like Marco Pierre White. Overall, we found the food in the main dining room to be quite decent, and whilst not spectacular, it always tasted quite good, and we enjoyed our food here. Moving to the back of Deck 16, you'll find the Horizon Buffet, which is the other major inclusive dining option on board Britannia. This serves breakfast, lunch, afternoon tea, dinner, and some late night snacks in an evening. Now, we didn't eat here all that much during our cruise except for lunch on port days, so sadly I wasn't able to record much of the food. However, I was pleasantly surprised with the selection of food here, and we had a good amount of choice, with the food tasting quite good. We were also super impressed with their allergen labelling, as Yeon was able to quickly figure out which items did or didn't contain dairy, so a big well done to P&O for this. Moving to her main pool deck, you'll find a few casual included dining options if you want to eat something by the pool. This includes the pizzeria, which offers a selection of freshly made pizzas which tasted really good. Nearby, you'll also find the Lido Grill, which offers a selection of inclusive burgers, hot dogs and things like that, with Yeon's personal favourite being the chips, which he says P&O do very well. If you're fancying something a little more chilled, then you can head over to the opposite side of the pool deck, where you'll find an extra charge ice cream stall, which serves a variety of ice cream flavours made by Jude's. Next up, we'll talk about the extra charge venues on board Britannia. Staying on Deck 16 and moving to the forward portion of the ship, you come across the Epicurean. Although it offers an inclusive breakfast for suite guests, anyone can dine here for afternoon tea and dinner at an extra charge. Afternoon tea here costs £17.50 per person and is far superior to what you would get in the main buffet. Starting your meal off, you're given a selection of included loose leaf teas to enjoy, with my favourite always being Earl Grey. You're then served your decadent afternoon tea, which is served in this rather swanky stand, which I really enjoyed. Starting off, you get to enjoy a selection of sandwiches as well as a small salmon tart, which tasted fabulous. In addition to the scones, you get to enjoy a variety of cakes and patisserie, and these all felt quite unique and stood out from other afternoon teas I've had in the past, so I was quite impressed with it. This being said, the afternoon tea was a little too sweet for me, and I'd preferred a few more savoury items to balance the whole thing out, but that's largely due to personal preference, and it didn't spoil our time here by any stretch. And the waiters did a great job at being really attentive, but without it being overbearing, which was really nice to see. In terms of dinner, this cost around £30 per person. Focusing on the best of British, as well as a selection of regional dishes, it showcases all of its components in an impressive but unpretentious way. The menu is extensive, and I feel like I could have gone back multiple times to try all the different options on offer. After looking at the menu, you're given a selection of some rather jazzy looking breadsticks as well as some butters before being served a mint-based palate cleanser. Our starters tasted really good, although my hamon iberico did feel a little chucked together, so I probably wouldn't rush to have that again. This being said, Yeon's dairy-free seafood cocktail looked really impressive and was a playful take on an old classic. The main course was much more my style, however, as I absolutely loved this tasty beef fillet with all the trimmings, and it tasted so good. The sides were also a welcome addition, even if by the end of it we were getting quite full. However, we did manage to squeeze in dessert, and we were absolutely spoilt for choice here. So I was so glad that they offered a tasting plate option, as it gave you the chance to try a little bit of everything. This included a berry crumble, chocolate cheesecake, and lemon meringue, which all tasted so good. Overall, we really enjoyed our meal here and definitely felt it was worth the extra charge in my opinion. Therefore, I'd highly recommend giving it a go if you're wanting to celebrate a special occasion or just because you want to try something a little different whilst on holiday. Jumping to the back of deck 16, we return to the Horizon Buffet, as in the evenings, a portion of this venue converts into the beach house. This is an extra charge casual dining option inspired by South America and the Caribbean. At the time of recording, the beach house was more focused on American style dishes, so the dishes that you'll see in the beach house today will be a little different. Given the fact the upfront cost for these 3 courses is £7.50 per person, I wasn't expecting all that much. But we were pleasantly surprised with the tasty food that had generous portion sizes. Do note that several menu items do cost a little extra, but you can absolutely enjoy a meal here without paying an additional upcharge. During our time here, I went for the burnt ends hash, beef strip sizzler plate, and a tasty chocolate fudge cake. Granted, it wasn't as swish and stylish as a venue like the Epicurean, but I really enjoyed eating here, as it's a really fun and relaxed specialty venue. Moving down the ship onto the upper level of Britannia's atrium on deck 7, you come across the Glass House. Made in partnership with Ollie Smith, one of P&O's food heroes, this venue celebrates wine from across the world, along with a variety of food ranging from small plates to more substantial meals if you prefer. I really liked the setup of being able to choose a set of 3 small plates for £6.95 per person, as it meant you could take advantage of the wide variety of dishes rather than just choose one large portion as a main course. During our cruise, I went for the spiced lamb skewers, sticky oxtail bonbons, as well as smoked salmon Scotch eggs, and absolutely loved them. All 3 combined, they were a good portion size and a great option for lunch during your cruise. If you're wanting something a bit more substantial for dinner, there's several larger options offering seafood, chicken and Indian platters, as well as individual items like surf and turf or even a play on good old British fish and chips. As lovely as all the savoury courses are, I'd highly recommend leaving some space for desserts, costing £4.95 for 3 of them. I went for the Across the Pond dessert, which tasted really good, although it was a little too sweet for my liking, but still a good dessert nonetheless. The venue itself is also positioned in a great spot to watch all the comings and goings of the atrium, so no matter if you're wanting a few drinks, lunch or dinner, I'm sure you're going to have a great time in the Glass House. Moving near the aft of the ship on deck 7, you'll come across Sindhu, which is Britannia's Indian fusion restaurant. Serving only dinner during our cruise, each dish is individually priced, which is a departure from the majority of the specialty restaurants on board. The cost of around £26.50 for 3 courses is absolutely worth it in my opinion, as our meal in Sindhu was probably one of our favourite meals of our whole cruise. To start your meal, you're given some chutneys and a few mini poppadoms. You don't get many of them, but perhaps that's to leave as much space as possible for all the tasty food that you're going to have here. The menu was really impressive, and Yeyan still won't stop talking about his soft shell crab starter, which he absolutely loved. And whilst my beef pepper fry starter wasn't as striking as that poor crab, it still tasted fabulous. The main courses were just as varied, and as I couldn't decide on a single dish, I opted for the Sindhu signature plate, which consisted of a salmon curry, chicken korma and a lamb rogan josh, which all tasted fantastic. You're also given a selection of rice, naans and dal, so you definitely won't go hungry. If you can manage it, I'd highly recommend saving some room for dessert, as they offer a good number of dishes, including some lighter options like ice cream if you're feeling a little defeated from all that rich and tasty food. I went for the chocolate textures, which tasted divine and was the perfect way to end a meal. The staff here deserve a particular mention, as they were always really warm and friendly and couldn't do enough for us, so I'd highly recommend eating here when you're on board Britannia. Returning to the atrium's lowest level on deck 5, you'll come across the Market Cafe. Although not strictly a restaurant, this offers a number of extra charge sweet treats if you fancy something along with your hot or cold drink. Following her refit in early 2024, this space was extensively redone, so it will look a little different today. However, you'll have plenty of chances to enjoy a variety of cakes and patisserie, as well as a new selection of ice cream desserts by Snowflake Gelato, which I imagine is a great addition, especially after a busy day of exploring a warm port of call. Finally, moving a little further forward on deck 5, you come across the Limelight Club. Costing between £25 and £35 per person depending on who's performing, this gives you the opportunity to enjoy an intimate performance along with a tasty 3-course meal beforehand. The venue itself is stunning and does a great job at making you feel like you're in some exclusive dinner club in London. The artists featured here are just as impressive, including La Voix, Chesney Hawkes, as well as other pop or musical theatre favourites. On our cruise, we saw the talented Joel Harper Jackson, who was captivating to listen to as he performed a variety of well-known musical theatre songs, along with a few surprises. In terms of the meal beforehand, you're given one of 2 menu choices to enjoy, with these rotating at different times during the cruise. The menu is a little bit more limited in comparison to the other specialty restaurants, but I enjoyed my starter of king scallops with pea fritters, along with a tasty fillet of beef main course and vanilla cheesecake. Whilst the food was quite tasty, it wasn't as impressive as some of the other dining options on board. However, the food is only part of this venue's appeal, and the star of the show was quite rightly Joel Harper Jackson. Therefore, I'd happily come back again, but mainly to see one of the many talented individuals who perform here, as it offers a much more exclusive and intimate performance that you wouldn't find elsewhere on the ship. Overall, I was really impressed with the variety of dining options on board Britannia, and felt like she offered a wide range of foods for everyone to enjoy. Although there's a great number of extra charge options, you can still have a good time eating in the included venues for your whole trip. If your budget allows, however, I'd consider giving some of these a go, as they're quite good value, especially compared to other cruise lines. Each venue offers something a little different, so if you're wanting to celebrate a special occasion or just to push the boat out one evening, then there'll be a venue to suit you. I also want to say how good they were at accommodating Yean's dairy intolerance in every restaurant that we visited, so even if you have some form of dietary intolerance or restriction, you'll enjoy the food on Britannia. So there you have it, my complete dining guide to P&O's Britannia, and I really hope you enjoyed it. A massive thank you to P&O Cruises for gifting me that extra onboard spend, and I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, then please leave a comment below and I'll do my best to answer them. If you want to know more about cruising with Matthew, then check out my other social media channels. The link is in the description below. I hope you're all doing well at the moment, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. So until next time, this is Cruising with Matthew, and thank you so much for watching.